Video start in 3, 2, 1. Intro start in 3, 2, 1. And a go. Now to the wind, baby. Whoa. 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 Hey, welcome to the greatest storm. I know, it's been much too long. And I will be your shining star. I'm here, where come up here, and one stone. Around to the heat of day and night, around until the fire's won. And myself, each and every one, till this war is won. And then through the storm, nothing of the arrogance of the power down you. And then the way I command my kingdom till now of the wind. Now, welcome to the end is near. I know, running and feel around the sky. Thanks to you and I, rush, I'm gone, over your crown high. Edge, I'll save each and every one. Till this war is won, and after all, the Lord rushing through the every inch of the power you. Yes, my lady will I command my kingdom, and not the wind, not of the wind. Now the message is merciful. There's the power. There's a break the wall. And video starts now. Oh, well, hello, all my wonderful, beautiful broskies of the Maverick Nation. Wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. And I am the Dark Shadow Maverick of the Dark Shadow Maverick Nation. And even though it's a little bit late, I kind of got to admit I kind of got, sidetracked with other videos. Yeah. Other what ifs that other people made that I was watching. Yes, getting sidetracked can be a bitch whenever you're trying to finish something. This little thing. What if Izuku was... No, what if... What if... I gotta freaking do something here. Okay, I think I got it. What if Izuku was Killowa's son, part 2? What if Izuku was Killowa's son, part 2? Last part was basically getting everything together. And I think I may need to take some more of my recovery juice. Okay, I call Gatorade and Powerade, stuff like that, my recovery juice, because it brings, me back. So, where we last left off was with Izuku discovering a new friend, who just so happened to be the reincarnation of the King of the Ants from Hunter x Hunter, seeing as he is Killowa's son from Hunter x Hunter in this. Well, I wanted to bring the ants up, in a way that I think would be pretty cool. So basically, what this character is the reincarnation of a certain character who is basically the king of all of the ants. If you remember that specific arc, the arc where there's the king, and Pitel is like this gone kid in this transformation, he might actually be as strong as the king. So, yeah. And then there was that really cool fight, the king versus Netero. And Netero did that thing with his heart, where whenever he punctured it, and, killed himself, basically, nuclear bomb attack. And then, the whole thing with Rose Miriam, which I just figured out a while back. Rose Miriam. However you pronounce his name. However you pronounce it, not however I pronounce it, however you pronounce it. I usually pronounce it Miriam. But whenever I'm saying, Rose Miriam, it's I usually say it Rose Miriam or something. For some reason, whenever I say Rose Miriam, I say it differently. I guess it's just because it's a weird ass transformation. I don't know. I don't know why I say his name differently whenever I talk about the transformation. I don't know why. I just freaking it's just how I do. It's basically, this one person is basically Miruem, the Ant King's reincarnation, but instead of a guy, it's a girl, and her name is Miri. If she ever gets a rose transformation, oh boy, how that's going to be. That actually might be the end of the world for the entire MHA cast if Midori gets her own rose transformation. Because you got Miram, then you got Rose Miram. So, yeah. There's that and there's that. So basically, this character, Midori, that I made, she's basically the reincarnation, only she's a girl. Like, Midori's a girl instead of Miram, who's a boy. Because he's the king of the ants, as to where she's more of like a queen, because Midori is actually a girl. And she's like a reincarnation type, daughter. Which, well, whenever you think about that, and Midori actually being nice instead of being, evil, that's a nice refresher. So, yeah, that. Basically, part one was ended off with Izuku talking about how him, Kachan, and now he even knows Midori wants to, take the entrance exam, and, like first day of UA. And so, whenever they go for the, you know, written part, I mean, well, Izuku, like regular Izuku, didn't really flunk the test. Neither did Bakugo. And, well, seeing as he's Killowa's son, I think he would be smarter than Ken Izuku. So he's definitely going to pass the test. And, well, basically Midori, oh boy, she gets like near perfect score. Like, she would be contending with Momo if Momo was there. However, Momo got through like recommendations, not like through regular tests. But if Momo was getting through like regular tests, she would be contending with Momo. Is how smart Midori is. She's like really smart. Like ridiculous smart. Like, she's just as powerful as she is smart. So, yeah. After all of that drama, there is the practical slash robot, test. In which President Mike is just like interrupted by Ida, and Ida, well, he would have been interrupted by Ida. However, Miri just points out that he was about to explain the zero pointer. I mean, could you not tell? And, Ida's just like, wait, what? And Midori's just like, you're so impatient. Is that speed quirk inside your head too? Making you so impatient that you can't even wait for him to explain the last thing on the test? Jeez. What an airhead. Ida just called it, just got called an airhead. Yeah, Midori just called Ida an airhead. Right in front of his face. So, yeah. That's bad. And, well, there's also a moment where Midori's, like, Midori is thinking about, well, she's thinking about a lot of things that's making her really nervous. And Izuku's seeing that, and he's like, I gotta help her because, it's just something inside of me, I want to help her. Little does he know, it's the little helper inside of him. Like, how it's the good Samaritan inside of him, the hero inside of him, wanting to come out. Because usually the Zoldyck are known as just assassins. And so, the Good Samaritan, the hero inside of him, is coming out. And so, he's wanting to help Midori because he thinks that Midori is, like, nervous or something. And Ida over here is thinking this guy is gonna try to, like, mess with her. And I can't let that happen. So, I'm gonna stop this guy. But as soon as he goes to do this, it's just like, he literally thinks that I can't see him. Lightning Mirage Cloak 1. And just by using the Lightning Mirage Cloak 1, he just sneaks up on Ida and is like, zzz, and Ida's just like, ow, what was that? And all of a sudden, Izuku's all the way over there, actually talking to Midori, and Ida's like, what the? How'd he get from there over there to just... And then there's a bunch of Izukus, and he's like, what the? And it's all of a sudden just like the after image technique thing, because I forget what it's called in Hunter x Hunter. There's like a bunch of after images, and he just like, oh, forget this. It's just like, President Mike's like, go, go, go! And Izuku's like, you don't need to tell me 3 times. And Midori is like, oh, I gotta go. And how convenient, Izuku and Midori just so happen to be in the same area. Doing things in the same area. And, well, Midori doesn't want to show off any special nin techniques. And, well, whenever it comes to assassin techniques, Izuku doesn't show off anything too severe. And whenever it comes to white lightning, he only goes so far because he knows that if he goes too far, that he could literally blow up the entire area with unfocused white lightning. And so, yeah. Just like one blast of unfocused white lightning could actually nuke the entire area. And, well, Midori is a freaking female descendant, or like, it's basically like descendant of Miroem. And what Miroem could do, he had entire attacks that were mountain busting level. Yes, you didn't hear that wrong. Mountain busting level. Mountain busting level attacks that this guy could pull off. And if Midori is related to Miroem, which, yes, they are indeed related through reincarnation, which would technically make Midori the queen. That is, if, like, there were any, like, other ants around to be like her subjects. So technically she doesn't really have the title of queen yet. She would have to have some subjects in order to gain the title of queen. So, technically right now she's just the Ant Princess. That's really as far as she's getting right now, is the title of Ant Princess. Technically, since she's newly reincarnated, at least for the time being, she's only getting the title of Ant Princess. But hey, that's good enough for her any day. She really isn't reaching for Ant Queen anytime soon. That is, unless it's forced upon her by her role and, like, other ants somehow getting here. Or, like, being created out of nowhere. Or somehow her gaining the ability to spawn new ants. And, like, it being a necessity. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Basically, here we have, everything going as per usual, but, in Izuku's area, Ochako screaming for help right as, like, the closing minutes of the test, and Midori trying to basically prove that, everything is good with the ants, everything is all good, trying to prove it 100%, is actually trying to do a heroic act by saving Ochako. However, this only ends up getting her in trouble too, as by trying to lift up the rubble, she just gets more rubble on top of her. Ends up squashing Ochako even more. So basically now they're both squashed like pancakes. Well, at least slowly getting squashed. Due to Midori's strength, they're like, from both sides, getting some leeway. However, it's not enough leeway to where they can wiggle out of there without either getting Ochako's head squashed or, revealing, the estranged powers of the ants. And to Midori, she does not want, the power of the ants to be revealed. She is actually apologizing to Ochako, saying, I am terribly sorry, but I cannot have, my secret revealed. It is something really close to me, so close that it is kind of scary to me, actually, how close it is. So, someone's gonna have to actually recognize that we're stuck here because I cannot let people see what my secret is. And Ochako's like, what could their secret be if it's that bad? Now, Chaco's interested because if it's that bad, then it has to be something of a secret. That's whenever Izuku would notice, eventually, Ochako crying out for help, her cries for help getting weaker as she's getting more crushed, and Midori wanting to improvise, so she does her own little cries for help, increasing the echo, making Ochako's echo stronger somehow. Midori actually didn't know that she could do that. But, Midori's actual surpriseness about her different powers that she actually somehow ends up having is going to have to wait. Because, gonna have to actually, increase the volume if anybody's gonna hear you underneath all that rubble that's accumulating as fast as it is. And actually, Principal Netsu and several of the teachers are actually regretting the decision of the Zero Pointer, considering what's happening. Like, 2 students, not just one, but 2 students are now, their lives are in jeopardy, and the Zero Pointer isn't even responsible for that, like, at least not inherently responsible. Not inherently. But the Zero Pointer does turn around and look at them, and Netsu's trying to figure out the controls because, it's been a while. So he's trying to figure out the controls to, actually have the Zero Pointer, because at this point it's actually getting kind of freaky, and he's just like, President Mike, what were the controls again? I might actually have to, if no one else is going to, then we might have to do it ourselves. We can't have potential students die. And, President Mike is like, I wish I could tell you, but you kept the controls and a lot of other things pretty secret, Principal Netsu. And Principal Netsu is like, darn. Just like, shit. And, well, Izuku just, like, gets there and is just like, enough of this! I've had enough! White Lightning Cloak 1! And just body slams all the rubble whenever he gets to the place where the rubble is, and automatically the shockwave that's created from all of the white lightning that just impacts the rubble sends it flying in all directions. And then, like, the extra rubble that's on there because of Miri, and, Izuku is just like, well then, I guess I'll just have to go. White Lightning Cloak, level 2! And then just be like, bam, 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 but with both fists, just like, go ballistic on all the rubble, and just start to beat the ever-living shit out of it. And, all the rubble is gone now. Midori and Ochako are basically, like, wiped out mostly. But Midori, gathers her ant strength, her inherent ant strength. She at least gathers that because she's partly responsible for the extra pain that Ochako is feeling. So she feels like she should at least help Izuku in this way. By taking care of Ochako's situation. And, well, they both end up falling, but, Recovery Girl ends up helping Midori by catching some of her fall and, laying her on one of the beds. So, yeah, they're both wiped out. And both in need of, actual, help. And, well, as for Izuku, he's all the way in White Lightning Cloak 2 territory. And for, like, Nin levels, that's like... And for, like, the amount of training that he's been able to do, he's getting into some shady shit territory. So, yeah, he just sees a zero-pointer, and he sees, like, all he's thinking is, like, could have possibly ended their lives. You don't deserve any mercy. White Lightning Cloak 3! And then just the blast from the transformation. Just the blast alone incinerates the entire zero-pointer. And, Izuku is just about to fall whenever he's like, no. He just, like, just with his willpower alone, is able to keep himself, standing. But, whenever President Mike, like, states that the test is over, and Izuku's still there, like, people come over, especially Principal Nesu, and they're like, they realize the reason why he isn't moving is because if he tries to move, he's going to fall. Basically, he can stand, but only in that one spot. That's literally how much of his, like, nen he's used up. Going all the way into Cloak 3. Literally just activating the transformation is all he can do. Before he just runs out of nen. And, well, with that, we basically, we have. Basically, he's taken, but basically, there's no real injuries on him. It's just that he's kind of you know, zapped out. He kind of doesn't have any more stamina. And his parents are told about this, how the last thing they heard him say over, like, the intercoms of everything is White Lightning Cloak 3. And, as soon as he said that, the entire Zero Pointer exploded into nothing. And, he all he could do is just stand there, because if he tried to walk or move at all, he would fall down. That's basically what they got from his medical records after that thing happening. And they're like, are there more accounts of this happening? And Killowa would just be like, well, we have been training, but not much, so that's why he's so, fall flat whenever it comes to Cloak 3. He can only go to Cloak 2, but even that's a risk. And, Inko's like, he went to what? And she's just, panicking whenever it comes to hearing about Cloak 3, because she's heard about the way it treats Izuku's body from Killowa, and that alone freaks her out. So whenever she hears from these people about the fact that he did that in the middle of the entrance exam, but then, Nesu says it wasn't really in the middle, it was actually towards the end, and it's actually what destroyed the Zero Pointer. After he had already went into Cloak 2 and used that to go ballistic on all the rubble that was trapping those two people. And Principal Nesu, seeing as Midori actually isn't around, and Principal Nesu probably wouldn't actually do what she said anyways, because, Midori would never actually tell him about the whole ant thing, because, Principal Nesu is probably not someone who she would trust with the whole knowledge about ants. The past with, the king and everything. And what she technically is, the ant princess now. Since technically she has no subjects, and until she gets subjects, she will only be the ant princess, not the ant queen. And there are actually more than one way. There's more than one way for her to get subjects. But the usual way is, well, the usual way. However, that information is going to be got somehow, eventually, records and all. You can't hide everything, forever, Eventually, your past is going to catch up with you. Someone is going to figure out, and then that's going to lead to people you really don't want to know figuring out. So, yeah. You might not even know, maybe the person who figured out originally is someone you don't want figuring out, maybe a villain. You never know, just that and everything. Just basically a whole entire thing about, Midori's heritage. Midori thinks she's not going to be accepted because of who she is. However, she's proved wrong whenever, she actually finds that she had got something in the mail. The rundown little shack that she has that she lives in. Yeah, she does indeed have a mailbox. It took them a while to find her house, but they were able to find it. It was a rinky-dink little place, but, they still found it. And whenever Midori actually found a thing, and it got the whole projection to run, Midori was astounded. She was actually still accepted. And the thing on the disc where they said something about, someone like you, they could actually make into a good hero one day. They wouldn't want getting into the hands of the villains because, if everything is true, then that would be bad. So if they can turn Midori into a hero instead of a villain, that would be good. And plus, Midori wants to be a hero, not a villain. So that's a plus ultra right there. And well, Midori is just like, yes! I gotta tell Izuku. Like Izuku-chan. She actually got used to calling Izuku Izuku-chan. And well, just calls up Izuku because Izuku had no problem sharing his number with Midori. Even though, the circumstances and everything. But hey, even whenever the cat was let out of the bag, Midori is still trying to, do good. And, they've seen that through and through. In every action she's ever done. She even tried to save Ochako. She was the one who tried to save her first, not Izuku. Izuku saved the both of them. Because, Midori actually failed to save Ochako and actually got them both in trouble. So, Izuku saved both of them, getting him double the amount of, rescue points he would have gotten normally. And it just so turns out that that was enough to actually double the score. And, right before he's able to ask what meant by double the score, they basically say what they mean by double the score is basically double what All Might's score was. Whenever he took the entrance exam. His score is basically double All Might's score. And, Izuku is looking through everything and basically finds All Might's score and finds his score, and it's like, they're right. My score, oh my god, my score's double All Might's score. I can't believe that. And, Midori and, Izuku are sharing their information with each other, and they're just being the best of friends. Even though Midori's an ant, and, Izuku's not. But hey. I mean, technically, she isn't a queen yet, she's only a princess. And, well, Izuku isn't even traditional Zoldyck. He is not traditional Zoldyck at all. The traditional Zoldyck are all assassins. Well, Izuku's going for more of a straightforward hero job. He isn't even looking to be number one. He's just looking to be a hero, just looking to protect those that need protecting. Just looking to do what's, do what's done that's done to be right. You know? Do the right thing. And just be an overall hero. Doesn't have to be the best hero, just a hero in general. And Midori admires that about him. And, well, basically, Midori's like, say, my friends, she's just talking to some ants she finds, in little ant holes. Because, there's several ant holes by her house. And so she just, you know, she finds some ants around some ant holes. And she's like, say, my little friends, I know someone, an Izuku Midoriya. What do you think about him? And basically, she'd be talking with the ants. The little ants coming in and out of the ant hole. And, well, at the end of the conversation, basically, Midori would be like, it's always enlightening to have a conversation with friends. Oh, what am I kidding? I don't have any friends. And she would just go in her house, close the door, and just go in her room, plop on her bed. And then she would just say, unless that Izuku Midoriya, he's my friend. He would tell me. Yes. And that's when the next day would come around. Or at least we would skip to the next day. That is, unless phone call. It's not dark out yet. There's some time left. And, Midori would be like, oh, who's calling me and what are they calling me for? And basically, Midori would see that it's Izuku's number and automatically click, just like automatically, I need to talk to this person. Like, always answers Izuku's calls. Because, Izuku is like the only friend. So, like, automatic best friend because he's the only friend. So, just like, Izuku, what are you calling for? Not that I mind you calling, it's just. And Izuku would be like, never mind that. Well, Midori, I was just wondering if you would mind training with me. I mean, it's kind of, lonely not having a training partner. Dad has to do what Dad does, and it's the same way with Mom. So, there are some times where I don't have a training partner, and Midori will just be like, don't worry, I already know. And, just getting ready. Like, already getting ready. And Izuku would be like, wow, that was fast. And, it would be like mere minutes. And Midori would be there. And Izuku would be like, I never even told you where I was going to be. And Midori would be like, oh, don't worry, I just, seeing as you and me kind of the only two kids that use anything similar to Nen, it's kind of easy to track you. well, easier than others. And Izuku's like, wow, that's something I never thought I would hear. At least from you. And again, I guess that does make me kind of a little bit of an idiot for not actually taking that into consideration. And, it's just like, Midori's like, so what did you want me to learn? With you, like, training. And, Izuku would be like, pointing to all the trash and be like, this, Dagobah Beach. And I think it might need some cleaning up. I think the best way to do that would be some traditional fighting. However, I already have a mental image of what it is that my father is trying to teach me. Besides the whole white lightning stuff, he's trying to teach me something else. And he's said he would try to use Dagobah Beach as an example. So, seeing as he couldn't really be here to teach me, I decided that, you and me could use this as something to train with. To give you something to actually, use as an attack. Like a signature blow. And, me just kinda have it as something, as a friend. Something that connects us. And Midori would just be like, something that connects us? You mean, we can both use it, so it would be something that connects us through that. And Izuku would be like, yeah, you ever heard of the Jonken? And Midori would be like, I think through father's memories. Yes, definitely someone who has that as an ability. Let's see. Like this. John Ken? Ah. And, basically Izuku would be like, no more like this. John Ken? Go! And basically Midori would be like, oh, I was doing it all wrong. Okay, I think I got it. They would just be training for Midori to learn the Jonken as something of a signature attack to defend, herself with. Like, a signature move, like something of a signature attack. To, connect with Izuku, because Izuku was kind of training to learn the Jonken too. Because, he had heard his father talk about it with his mother, and so he was prying and prying and prying, and so finally, Killowa just kind of cracked under the pressure, and was like, fine, I'll teach you. At least from what I know of, Gon's attack. The Jonken. And so basically, Izuku not really wanting to use it as much, more wanting it to be Midori's thing, would be slowly and steadily teaching her the Jonken and seeing if they could use the devastating blow that it, pumps out to get rid of the garbage. And so, basically, that would be the test. Midori would have to use the Jonkin to destroy all of the garbage in Dagobah Beach with as little bit of tries as possible. Like, they would do one section at a time, and the less Jonkins that would have to be used, the more progress would be considered made. But there's, like, trash on, like, more than one side of the beach, so, it's very thorough training. I guess you could say that. And so, yes. By the end of all the training, basically, with everything you do with the whole entry exam and the whole Jonkin training, which they would need to take breaks, and finally, Izuku would be like, my parents will probably think it's weird if I'm gone for too long. I gave them the excuse that I was going to hang out with you, which technically that is what we're doing, but whatever. Hanging out, training, what's the difference? So, yeah. Basically, try to use what you've learned here as a basis for the Jonkin, and you should be golden, Midori. And Midori will just be like, yes! And we'll just pump out a Jonkin like, boom! And Midori will just be like, ow. Okay. That was a little bit unstable, but that's just because I'm a little bit too overexcited. And plus, I'm kind of tuckered out too. So, what does that mean for the rest of everything? And Izuku's just like, well, tomorrow is the first day of school, so whatever they have in store for us, we better be prepared. Prepared for anything. And Midori is like, yeah, prepared for anything. And, they will just go off to their houses, just keeping that mindset of being prepared for anything. And, well, yeah. That is indeed where I am going to stop. Alonzi and Adasses, because the Doctor Maverick is OUT out of here. Your boys. Like, favorite, subscribe. Adasses. Description. Shit.